So this is my Hubert Herr music box cuckoo clock I've decided to service. Now, I've had it almost a year. When I got it, it looked really clean. I just put some oil on it and it's been running for a year, but black gunky junk has been coming out where I oiled it, and there's some tarnished like green junk down in there, so it is time to service this movement. It has run well. The hands have been a pain in the butt because they constantly tighten, but I finally got that. So when we get to putting the hands back on, I'll show you how to, what order and how to do these movements so that they don't constantly tighten up on you. I've already taken my pictures. Someone serviced this in the past because there's bushings in the first two wheels on both sides. And it cuckoos really fast, so I've got to remember to tighten the fan up a little bit when I put it back together. The nice thing about these is these unscrew for your arm to come off here. This does not come off, it's part of all one piece. I don't see my gong wire. Oh. The gong wire on these is a single wire that comes from the front of the case to the back of the case. I've worked on a lot of regulars lately. It's been a while since I've done a Hubert Herr. It's a little bit different on the side. Instead of the second wheel having that cam, it's got this little funky thing that holds this up to hold your bird post out. And I did take pictures before I took it apart, because this wheel being on the inside instead of the outside, you need to know where your levers hit on these pins. They did a good job with the bushings. They're good and flat. Plate looks good and flat. Let me get a picture of the inside. Okay. A little grunty. Not too bad. A little bit over oiled, I guess. There's oil on everything. got a nice click system, and it's got a nice metal wheel to turn your hands. Hands turn super easy. I'm gonna adjust these little tabs on that center arbor. Doesn't feel super loose. Warning pin near the top when it's shut off. And this had a bunch of junk I took a Q-tip and cleaned out. It had all kind of stuff and green stuff all around here. And then that leaves the center arbor and the Pac-Man I didn't take off. Bunch more grunge. And I don't know why I did it backwards and took it apart first before I took the stuff off the front, but that's what I did. And they put a flat washer on instead of a curved washer. There's two parts to this. This little flanged part is added on as an extra piece on the back, so I guess you could adjust it up and down. Separate from that little arm, that's different. Huh. The hour tube comes right out. That's interesting. I know it turned super easy. Which was part of the problem I was having with the hands and trying to tighten it. There's no spring on this, it falls with gravity. That's not going to come off of there with the The other Hubert Herr that I worked on, it didn't have a music box, so this little wire is going to keep that from coming off. I could take the wire out, it just goes through and around and is bent over, but I think I'm just going to loosen it and keep it on there. But I can take the rack stop lever off. Ooh, very grungy. So I guess I need to take the Pac-Man off since that's so dirty. So that came off fairly easily with my bent screwdrivers. I just slid it off of there. And this little cam was at about 8 o'clock position when I took it off. And then that let the minute arbor come out. And this, I thought I would need to bend these prongs a little tighter to make it not spin so freely. It's really strange. Okay, so there's one more little E-clip here holding this arm that locks the bird post in position. And there's some little teeth on it to hold it. Alright, the ultrasound is warm. I will head that way. And get this cleaned up. They don't really want that to come off. Okay, I don't have to take it off. So the movement's cleaned. I've been through all of the holes with a toothpick on both sides, cleaning out the pivot holes, and it came out very clean. I used one toothpick on the whole thing and it was still super clean. I've put this little post back on with this little E-clip on it. And I've dry fitted both sides in individually to check my pivot wear, and I was happy with that, so I'm ready to put this back together. and I lifted this little tab, slid this out, pushed down on this end of the tab, slid this back together so it's not flipping loose anymore.
starts barking at.
Alright, movement is together. Pivots are oiled. I've put this bracket back on with its little E-clip right there on the inside of the plate. I've lubed this shaft, so I want my hand to not hang up, and I did inside of here with a wooden stick too. There's sometimes you can get burrs and wears in this on older clocks. This one isn't that old to have that, but nope, didn't clean in that hole. Not quite the right spot. I want this little tab to fall right about here on this flat part of 12 o'clock. So I'm holding everything out of the way so I can disengage the snail and turn it a little bit. And then check and see where it's falling. And that looks like a good spot to me. And then we will set this little guy on here. I haven't really pushed it down because I'm not sure where I want it yet. It's not on there enough to do anything. Nope, just spinning. Thought I had it clicked on there, but it's not. It's just spinning. It's not turning my little wheel here. Well, let me go ahead and put it on there then. Alright, a few little taps. I put my staking tool, little staking set I've got. I found one that fit over that, set it over it. The Hubert Herr is nice that the little pin is far enough away I can use a round staking set piece and just put it over the whole thing and tap it down. The regular ones are so close, if I do that it bends the pin away and then it gets hung up because it's angled into my teeth. So one more plus design for the Hubert Herrs. Let's see what we got. If I turn it the right way it would help. And I still don't have it on there tight. Alright. Every time I start to turn it, it just jumps right back off of there. So let me get it down on there a little better. So when you roughly get an idea and tap this on, make sure that your little kidney bean gathering cam is under the wheel that's right here on the bottom of this snail. Mine was on top, and that's why it kept popping off every time I would go to move it. And so when I got it tapped on there good, I had no more end shake, and that was because I had tapped it on top of the wheel, and so everything was binding. So I had to take it off, take that off, tap it on, get it where it needs to be, find my spot again to find 12 o'clock, and check and count. This was not falling into my little teeth very good, so I had to take this little pin and kind of flatten it up some. It was a little bit bent down, so with it flat, when I trip it, it goes in, this little thing goes into a tooth real well. If it was kind of like that, perched on the edge of that tooth, and it was still giving me a count of 12, but that doesn't mean it would always do that. Sometimes it might skip, give me 11, you know, or double count or something. Anyway, it's got to be down in there good when this falls over. That's got to lock in there good. $10, $11, and $12. And so I did have to make an adjustment on my cam and twist it with my pliers. Twist it up some. I held this third wheel with the warning pin up against the stop lever to hold all of the movement still, and then just twisted this up. You want this little bar on this right hand side of the cutout. It's real wide on a Hubert Herr. I had it kind of in the middle, and it would bypass, it would count fine here, and when it would get to the bottom, it would do it 2 or 3 times before it would catch. So that told me my cam wasn't in the right spot. This little thing wasn't catching in the right time. So with it up and sitting right there, it catches real good at the end of the cycle. And shuts off. So I will put the washer and the E-clips back on there and there. And that is all I have, is a washer and 2 E-clips, and then my lift levers. And I should have put them in with the top plate like I took them out, because with this little pin in there, I'm going to struggle, I have a feeling. But we'll see when we get there. Oh, how did you get over there? Alright, so then you get to do a function test again and make sure your wheel didn't turn on you. Alright, now I will put them on there before I turn it over again. So no problem putting this one on, but the little lever that lifts is sitting on a pin, and then, which is fine, it's sitting on a pin. And then I put this one in, it's sitting on the next pin up. And the problem is the gong is going to be on that same pin. So that's not going to work. I'm going to have to separate the plates and turn this a little bit where it's not right on a wheel, right on a little pin on the wheel. And since I'm going to separate it anyway, I can get this in there, because with this long arm right there, there's no way I'm going to get it under that spring. So with the plate separated, I can finagle this one in. Much struggling. Finally got it in there. I put it all together with the levers and this stuff, and getting all this back in the holes and all these back in the holes. Put it all together except put this wheel in last, like you usually put like the fan in last. And so I spread the plates enough and held the second wheel in the right spot and slipped this up there next to the gong lever and tighten everything all down, and this last cuckoo was not falling, so I had to spread it again, separate this, hold this over, turn it a little more, and finally got the levers where they were supposed to be. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. Alright, bird post is moving. Both cuckoos are moving, the gong is moving, it's counting the right number, it's locking right here, and the warning pin is hitting up here, so it took a while, but it's back together. I'm going to tighten up these nuts and get it back into the box. So there's a little setback. I got everything, got the chains back on, got the movement back in, music box in. I was ready to test it and adjust the music box levers, and my weight for my music box would just drop very quickly, play the music really fast, and so I had to take it back out, and the fan wasn't turning at all, and that's why it was playing very fast, because this is the little wheel that's supposed to control it, and all the little teeth are gone. So I took the 2 screws out that hold the governor on. Just had to separate these because there's no way for the parts to come off of that governor. They're just put on there permanently. This was on there across here, so I pried this little leg out to get this wheel off, and pried this out a little bit to get this whole arbor off, and popped the little wheel off and counted. There's 20 teeth on this. That makes 5 in each area. It's 360 degrees, 80 degrees, 90 degrees in each little quadrant, 5 teeth in each one. So I divided up, divide 5 into 90, 18 degrees for each tooth, and I thought, well, I'll try to make a tooth. But I looked online last night and I found 4 of these old style where these are metal for less than $20 each. So I got those. They're coming in the mail. And I got 4 because I have a feeling that I've got the same problem with another clock I'm going to show you. House clock. The music is not playing right either. This little guy's doing good. Except he did 9 at 8 o'clock, I think, if I counted right. So, what's the weird sign? Let's see what it does. Nothing at all. And if I pull the weight, it's just slipping. It's not. It'll click. That's the weird part. The clicker's pulling fine, but the music doesn't play right. Sometimes the weight will just go. Sometimes it doesn't go at all. And the lever that pulls the little guy, the little beer mug back inside, is somehow not in the right spot again. It's just, so I have a feeling when I get this off the wall, the little teeth, either the wheel's cracked or the teeth have broken off of it like that other one. So I've got two I've got to work on the governor. So here's the governor out of the Hofbrauhaus one. I slipped it out of there. Unscrewed the screws from the top, unhooked that little beer mug from the front door, straightened the little bend out of this arm so I could slip it off of the lever, and slid it out of there, loosened the bird up so I wouldn't put pressure on him. And in first look, all my little teeth are still on the wheel. I'm going to turn it and see if there's any cracks in it, but my first inspection looks like this fan is no longer in the little hole in the top. I believe it's going to be my problem. It's not straight anymore. So let me check this wheel real close. I've checked this thing out well. I loosened the screw here and put this where it needed to be. And when I turn it, there's no cracks in this little plastic wheel. The teeth look good. The little fan moves up and down like it's supposed to. It's got enough in-shake. Everything seems to be working like it's supposed to. This is a little bit wobbly. So don't know, I mean the click was holding the thing up there. But I'm gonna try taking this little C-clip, E-clip off the end here and bend these prongs down a little bit to make this a little bit tighter to the piece next to it. So see if that'll fix our problem. These little curved pieces that poke out are what hang up in the clicks and make your click work. So I bent these out just a tiny bit. I bent these legs down a tiny bit. So I'm going to put it back together and see. All I can do is put the weight on it and see if it starts working right. Alright, I've slipped it back in there and put the chain back on. Let's see what happens with the hands turning. This one plays just on the hour. So there's the half hour. No music. It's definitely pulled it. The arm is far enough out of the hole. Everything's adjusted right. And that falls back and lets the fan turn. But the fan's hitting on the little arm. So the music's not playing. So I'm going to bend the little arm that goes into the drum further so that when it pulls out it releases the little back arm a little bit more. I talked about that in another video, and maybe this one will be fixed. Alright, I bent that one arm that goes into the drum in toward the drum a little bit more. There's the half hour. And here's the hour. Still holding it. The little arm that goes into the drum has a bend in it, and I went to that bend and bent it down toward the plate more, which is up in the air more, so that when this lever pulls the wire and pulls the arm out, it will go towards the center of the drum more because it kept falling back in the hole. So let's see if that was enough to make it work reliably. There's the half hour. It's pulling it out, but it's going back in the hole. It's not supposed to pull it out. Okay, it looks like it let it lift some as it pulled out. Let's see if it doesn't fall back in the hole if it goes onto the drum. Yes. So maybe I've got it adjusted that millimeter it needed for the little arm to come out properly. I don't know why it was letting the music play fast and letting the weight drop fast sometimes. Still don't know, but we're going to put it back on the wall and let it run for a while. And I'll probably stop this video here. I've got to wait for the other governors to come to fix the other music box, and I can make a video on working on the governors, I guess. And I hope this has helped somebody. And if you have any ideas about what's going on, leave me some comments. Thanks for watching, guys. So this clock has worked properly since I got it hung back up here. Weights are dropping evenly. It plays the music when it's supposed to. It's not slipping anymore, and my brain was processing it overnight while I was sleeping. And I want to show you what I figured out, what was going on. You may have already figured it out from the videos, but I haven't posted it yet. Nobody's left me any comments. So I want to show you what I figured out. On that clock that was hanging up there, there was only one set screw in this little space, the flange that makes the little person or the little beer mug come out. There's a little gap, a spacer in there that they've got a screw on this side, screw on that side, and the one that was up there just had one screw in it, and I didn't notice that. I noticed when I took it back down that there was a hole that didn't have a screw, so I put a replacement screw in there. I had a number 0 Philister screw that fit in there, so I put the new screw in there and tightened it down. And what was going on makes sense if it was slipping. The whole thing was slipping because of the one screw, and that's how the beer mug got out of position from the little notch it was supposed to fall into, and why the weight would turn too fast and fall, because this whole ratchet system was only being held on by the one screw, and sometimes it was holding and sometimes it was slipping. So I don't know if they all have 2 screws on them. It seems like I've worked on some that only have 1, but those are probably the ones that have some other type of device running them, and it only needs 1 set screw to hold the flange, but it needs 2 if that is the whole mechanism that's holding this stuff onto this arm right here. So anyway, hopefully I've got it fixed and it's gonna be running like it's supposed to now, and I just have to wait for the part I need to fix this one. Thanks for watching. Hope y'all are having a great day.